Don't you just love it when a plan comes together? In the last video, I said I was going to be showing you my drawer system that I built. Well, it is 99% finished now. As you can see, it's already in the vehicle. I'm going to be taking the camera off its mount over there now and taking it in my hand, and I'm going to take you on a little tour of what I've done and how I've done it. I think I've used a few methods, let's say, that make the drawer system fairly versatile in the future, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. So let me get that camera off its mount, and I'm going to show you my drawer system. Right, as you can see, here's my drawer system. I don't have the drawers in it yet. I still have to have them made, but what I wanted to show you was the versatility of the system. I plan, for the time being, I plan on having 3 drawers on this side, and I haven't made their mountings or the rail mountings fixed yet. I have put in vertical, as you can see here, I put in these vertical tubes so that I can mount the rails anywhere I want, which means in future I can decide if I want to change the size or the depth of my drawers. All I have to do is drill new mounting holes in the tubes and screw them in and have the drawers made, obviously, and then I can change the drawers to what I like. But for the time being, I think I have settled on 3 drawers. The top drawer is going to be the narrowest of the lot. That will basically be my tool drawer, and then they will get progressively deeper as I go down, with the bottom one being around 200 millimeters deep. As I said, in the future, if I feel like changing my drawers and I want to change them, I can always remove them, change their order, or have a different number of drawers made, deeper, shallower, doesn't matter. All I have to do is drill new holes for the rails and slide them in. And obviously once they're in, I'll have to change the position of the locking tabs. This side, I have made my fridge slider. I've temporarily installed it here so that I can show you. But before I pull it out to show you, you will see there's an extra rail here. Now, obviously, another one is going to go on this side. These extra rails will be mounted to the underside of the fridge mount, or the fridge tray. So they will sit more or less in that position on each side, which will provide me with an extra table that will come out from underneath the fridge slider. Now, I can use that extra table in this position, or I can slide the fridge out, and then from here I will be able to slide out the extra table. Quite a versatile and handy item, I think. So that is my fridge slider. And then we have this space on the top here. Now, I've made this 50 millimeters because I plan on making, let me just step back a little bit. I plan on making a full width table that slides in there, and that will be its storage position. But I've made it wide enough to accommodate at least 2 of these. So if I want in the future, I can make 2 tables that will sit one on top of each other here and still have space. Remember, this surface area has to be covered with I'm going to be putting a formal ply, because the ply itself will not be taking any weight. If you look from the top, every corner has a gusset piece which will have one screw holding the plywood in place. It has this center bar running across, and then obviously this corner and the back 2 corners will also have the gusset strips going across, supporting the ply. And then further back, you can see over there I've got a little tab that the plywood will also mount to, and I will screw that down to it. But the plywood itself in the center will not be taking any weight. The tables will be resting basically on these corner pieces and the tabs, as well as the center section over here. So I've elected for, I might even go 3 mil ply just to close the gap. That will be also carpeted, obviously, to minimize noise and scratching and that kind of thing. The top sides are going to be getting a 6 mil ply, because obviously I can load things onto here. I've made a cross going across the width and the breadth, or depth and the breadth of the drawer system, and that will support the plywood. And on top of this, I can load, it won't be heavy stuff. As you see, there's not a hell of a lot of room, but I will be mounting things like, or not mounting, just packing things like bedding, clothing bags and that kind of stuff. I might even go for a little, call it a cargo carrier for lightweight stuff that's mounted to the handles on the left and the right of the vehicle. I might take the handles off and mount a little basket that hangs there, and then the gap in between I can use for my clothing and everything else. On the front edge of the drawer system, I will cut down my existing cargo barrier, build a tubular frame for it, and my cargo barrier will now basically only close that gap between the end of it there, between the end of the drawer system and the roof. So it'll just be a narrow little cargo gap or cargo barrier that I can actually see through with a grid. I'll be able to see through it through the mirror while I haven't got things loaded here. That is basically the drawer system as it is now, and that will complete phase 1 once I've done all of this. Phase 2 is going to be the front edge right over there between the end or the forward edge of the drawer system and the base of the seats, going up until just below the top edge of the back seats. In that area, I'm going to be building a water tank, an insulated water tank, basically a geyser to store hot water. And in the previous video, I told you how I'm going to be, well, I didn't tell you how, but I told you I'm going to be making hot water. And we will get into that. But that is phase 2. I actually, in hindsight, I should have made these 3 stainless tubes about 200 millimeters longer on the bottom, because that is going to form the base of my tray that holds the water tank and everything else in the front. But it's not a problem. I will just weld on 200 millimeters of square tubing on each end there, and that will form the base to hold the water tank and everything else. When we get to that, I will make you another video, and in the meantime, I'm going to be showing you what I'm going to be doing on the sides. As I said, I'm going to be building my own gull-wing doors. They are not going to be full-size gull-wing doors, because as you can see, this Landcruiser is one with the air conditioning in the back, and opening a gull-wing door that exposes that is pretty much a waste of time. So my gull-wing doors are going to keep a section of the window closed and will only open for, let's say, 2/3 of the window from the back edge of that air condition the air conditioning duct there all the way to the back. And that is going to form on one side my shower cubicle, and on the other side I will make a full length gull-wing door, and that will form my little kitchen for all my cutlery, crockery and everything else, where I'll keep that. And those will be built onto here, and they will close in the gaps on this side with a built-in platform that also, let me see if I can get in there. From here, it will also, from the side of the drawer system, it will close to against the bottom edge, just underneath the door rubber or the window rubber, so that it forms a closed cubicle all the way up to the top of the window over here. So that it'll have an extension that goes onto the drawer system and go right up to the roof and close that section off. It's going to be pretty interesting, but I think I've got something maybe not unique, but I think where I'm going with it will be pretty unique and pretty versatile in its use, and very handy in my opinion. So as soon as I've got all of this done, the fronts of the drawer, or the drawers made up, I'm going to be bending up just a U and then welding on ends to it. I'm not an aluminium welder. As I said in the previous video, I've even had to teach myself to TIG weld to weld this thing together. I'm definitely not the world's best welder, but I'm getting there. I think for what I need it for, it is way strong enough, and will stand the test of time, I'm sure. One thing I forgot to tell you, and let me show that to you right now. In previous drawer systems that I've seen, they mounted it to the floor of the Landcruiser via either adjustable turnbuckles or something at the back, catching the cargo mounting brackets inside. But what I have done is, for the rear, the third row seats, when they are folded down, there are little places you can see over there, over that end over there, where the seat actually clips onto. I've removed those brackets, and now I'm going to be using the bolt holes to catch those little tabs that I've mounted or welded to the frame. And the holes on top will be much bigger than the holes on the bottom of the tube, so that I can get the head of the bolt through there, and I will tighten it with I'll be using Allen cap screws, so the bolt itself will be recessed inside the tube and not stick up above the level of the tube, catching the draw as it slides in, so they'll be absolutely flush. At the back edge, I've used, there's little brackets here with a hook that folds out that you can tie down cargo and everything else in the back here. I've removed them as well and picked up the holes to hold them. You can see I've just dropped an Allen key into each hole now just to locate it. But that is how this will be held in. And once the drawers are all in and the fridge is in, you won't be able to see the mountings, and you will not be able to get this drawer system out of here, which I think is a bit of a security feature as well, especially if the drawers themselves can lock on the front. So yeah, and that in a nutshell is my drawer system. Thank you for watching this far, and I'll catch you as soon as I've made a little bit more progress.